Yo guys, great news today. I beat Wally. After 100 defeats, I finally beat Wally with 3 mistakes, 3 blunders, and one, can't remember what it is. Smash this like button, subscribe guys, that was insane. I'm gonna show you guys right now how we won the game. Alright, so here's the analysis. Speak for yourself. Start off with the horse to f3, then he moved this pawn to e6. I moved my horse to c3. He moved his horse to c6, and then I moved my pawn to e4. He moved this pawn to d5, and this is just I moved my second pawn to d4. This is a book move. He took my pawn, I took his pawn. He moved his king in, queen in. Really, it's a really good move. And then I moved back with my horse. That was a really good move by me. I was happy with that move. And then he moved his bishop to b4. Then I moved my my pawn up to attack his bishop, kick him back. He obviously is going to take my horse, and that's an excellent move apparently. I took his pawn. I took his bishop with my pawn. Then he moved his horse. I moved my bishop out. He castled. I castled. This is perfect. And then he moved his h pawn up, which is excellent. This is, by the way, challenge 3 stars. This is the hardest, no help of any kind, and I beat. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I won. And then I moved my pawn up to c4. He moved back with his queen. I moved my bishop in. That was a beautiful move by me. f4 with my bishop. Then he moved his rook out, to attack the pawn. Then I moved my rook to e1. He could already take this pawn, by the way. I don't know why he didn't take it. Oh, because he's going to take it. Yeah, he's going to take it. He took my pawn, so I took his pawn. I took his horse. He took my horse. I took his queen. He took my queen. And now we're equal material, but he has 1 pawn up on me, which I'm going to take back right now with my bishop. Then he did an error move by moving his rook to d2. That was not an error, that was a mistake. Yeah, so apparently it's a mistake. d2 is a mistake with the rook. I can't believe, I guess because of the rating they did that. And then I moved my pawn to c3. That was a missed win. There was a win that I missed. Which I didn't see. I think it was rook to e1. d1. But we'll see now. Yeah, so that's so the move was actually to trap this rook in by moving my bishop to d3. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that. But that was actually a really good move. Unfortunately, I missed it, but it's fine. It's all as long as you beat Wally, it doesn't matter how you beat. That's already a really high level. But yeah, that's a good move. If I moved my bishop to d3. Anyway, I moved my pawn up. He moved his horse in. So this is an inaccuracy apparently, moving your horse in so recklessly. So then I did an inaccuracy as well by moving my rook to d1. Then he just blundered his bishop because he has an idea here. So I took the rook, which was an excellent move. The best move, taking the rook in this situation. He took my rook with the horse. The best move that you can do is take the rook, obviously. Then I moved my second rook in. Why? Because I'm going to be targeting the horse as well as the bishop at the same time. So these are pinned. Now he moved his rook to c8. This is a really sneaky move, because if I take the horse now, he's going to take my bishop. So I basically retreated my bishop to g3. So like there's no way to attack this bishop anymore, and this horse and bishop are still under threat. And yeah, you couldn't do anything, so he just took a pawn, which was the best move for him. I took the bishop, obviously, because if I take the horse, then he will take me with the... If I take the horse, he will take me with the rook. I mean, if I take the bishop... if I take the horse with the bishop, he will take me with the rook, which is not good. Here, it's free. That's a free bishop. So I took it, and then he took a second pawn. But obviously, I'm going to take this pawn now, which was the best move. I can't believe I found the best move in this situation against WALLY. And then he took another pawn, and I took that pawn, which was an inaccuracy. I should have went for a check here, but I don't see how I can checkmate him in this situation if I were to move here. Like, let's say, for example, let's go a bit back. If I checked him here, he's going to go here, right? I can't check him with the bishop because the rook is here. So that's why I just took the pawn. I don't think it's an inaccuracy. Wait, so the machine said, yeah. Oh. Yeah, b8. Yeah. Rook to b8. I don't see it. He could have checkmate me here. I didn't even see that he could checkmate me here. So I went c1 is best move. How? Oh, this is for the rook. So yeah, so he moved this rook to c1. I was nearly checkmated, but luckily I had my bishop here to protect me. I was so careless. And then he moved this horse in. This was a good move, but not the best move. The best move was actually to move the horse to b5 to attack my rook. And then I blundered h3. But how did I blunder h3, which I don't understand? And then c3 is a mistake. And c7 is a mistake, but I'm pinning the rook to the horse. Okay, so he checked me here, and this is where this is the reason it was a blunder, because now that he checks me, I'm in trouble. I have to retreat, right? So I went to h2. See, then he took my bishop. So this is the issue here. But look at his position. He's in a really terrible position. His rook is all the way at the end of the wall, and my rook is still free on the c7 file. This whole file is mine, and this file is all mine pretty much. Then I went for a check, which was apparently an excellent move. And then h7 is forced, obviously, so he went to h7. But in this position, my bishop on the light squares, I can't use the light squares anymore, only the dark squared bishop, because the light squared bishop is already being taken by the rook. So I decided to go to c2 to attack the horse. I think that was a good idea. Okay, so I didn't do that. I went with the bishop to e5 to target this, which I think wasn't a good idea, because now he's going to move the pawn up. The best move. So then I went here to attack the horse. I think this was a really good move, actually, moving this here to move this and attack the horse. So he took, which I don't understand, because now I can just move my bishop back and threaten the horse and the rook. So that was an inaccuracy, and I found obviously the best move. So he moved back, which I don't understand. Like, obviously he couldn't do anything. He blundered pretty much, and now I can take the horse. and that's what I did. But as you can see, I only have 2 pawns and he has 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns. However, I have a bishop, so we're equal material, you can say. He made a mistake by moving to c5. That was not the right move. So obviously I can just take the pawn now. I don't know why you would do that. As you can see, even though this was the best move, rook to c1, my king is well protected by my pawns. This is like one of the best defense position. He can't do anything. And then I moved my bishop. And then we did some good moves, played around, nothing special, until here. Here it got interesting, because the next move, I'm just gonna move here. This was the idea. I play around because the rook kept following me, and I don't want it to be a draw by repetition. So I kept moving on ways, and then I moved here with the bishop like this from c1 to a3, and then from a3 to f8. To target the g7 pawn. So then I'm to get ready to move my rook to a7 and target the g7. Moved his king to f7, and then I moved back. I can't believe this was actually the best move in here. Why is this before the best move? I don't understand. And then he moved, also an excellent move. So I went, I think, for a check. Yeah, that's what I did. That is the best move. And then he went back. This was a really tough, like, I don't know how I escaped this. Then I moved to d6 is the best. No way. I can't believe, I swear to you guys, I can't believe I moved like excellent moves like this. It's not normal. And then he blundered. He went to h7. Which I don't understand. Then I went to g3, which is a mistake. f8 was actually the best move in this. Actually, yeah, f8 was the best move. I don't know why I didn't move there. Because the next move is going to be pretty much, I'm going to take the pawn. Right? But I think I was blinded here. And then he moved to c3. I moved my pawn to h4. I think because I was scared, to be honest with you guys. And then he moved his king out. I moved my bishop to e1. He moved his rook to c1. And then I moved my rook to e7 to protect my bishop. Okay, and then this basically was what was happening, as you can see. I protected my bishop. As you can see, I moved my pawn out to protect the bishop. So now this is really strong. This here is really strong. I was confident that now it's just pretty much winning for me. And then I moved my king out. He moved his rook to c6. And then I moved backwards. Reason being so that I have the full A file. And then he moved his pawn down, which was the best move. I moved here so that this whole file is going to be guarded by the rook, so that I can start attacking now. And then he went, so I moved my pawn up, as you can see, and then he checked me instantly. And then I just with ease slided my bishop backwards, and now he just took and I took. And then he went back with the king, because the next move when I move my pawn is going to be check. At the same time he can move his pawns out. So I went with a check here, and then he went backwards. Then I went back, he went backwards, and I don't want a repetition here. So I moved my pawn forward. He moved his king back. I went for a check here. Okay, so here it was very interesting. Why? Because that g5 is actually a mistake. The next move, I moved back with my bishop to c1 so that he can't attack this bishop, and then the rest is just winning, because the next move is going to be rook to a6, attacking his pawn on f6. This is going to be super powerful, because the next move, I went back, right, with the bishop. Then I went with the rook here. I'll show you guys. I went back with the bishop, which was a missed win, actually. So apparently the win was on d6, but actually there was a I don't know, like, this is a machine way of winning, right? d6 is the best, but I'm not a machine. I'm Golgius. So the next move, okay, he moved to attack me, right? Then I just moved my pawn to d2 to attack his rook. So then he went for a check. I went upwards. He took my pawn. I took his pawn. And now, as you can see, good fight. He did well, but I did better. My bishop is attacking the pawn, and my rook is attacking the pawn, and his king can't take the pawn. So he moved to g4. I took the pawn check. And now it's super important that you don't want to sacrifice your rook. So we kept moving around, as you can see. I'm trying to push the king all the way down, so I can go for a checkmate here. So he did a mistake, and I just kept going. And here he couldn't do anything anymore, because he's about to get checkmated, because my rook is on the second H file. At the same time, I'm moving my king this way to attack his rook. At the same time, go for checkmate. Okay, so you might say, hey, why did he take the bishop? Couldn't he just go back? If he were to go back, if he were, let's say, to go back here, I would just keep moving this way, and then his king is eventually gonna get trapped. Reason being is I can just go like this with my bishop. So either way, it was a loss. And then he took my bishop, and I tried to checkmate him somehow, but obviously I went the wrong way. I was doing it wrong a little bit, and then I figured it out. And then I just moved my bishop, my rook, and he had no choice, and checkmate. His king can't move up or right or left, because this whole file is check, 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 check. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I can't believe it myself that I won against Wally. That was such a beautiful and fun match. One that I beat a 1800 rated bot. I'm proud. I learned so much from this game, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Bye bye.